Thank you guys for joining us today. Today's is going to be focusing on how to take chapter attendance using a couple of resources that are on AET. As a reminder, all of these things are optional and things that we are just doing to provide you guys support. As a reminder, just the two things that you'll need to do as teachers this fall are to make sure you fill out your teacher and chapter profile, and then to make sure that you do your FFA roster using AET. So today we're going to take the next step of looking at our program of activities and utilizing some of the resources to be able to take attendance. So as a reminder, if you go to, let me get the right window up. If you go under Minnesota FFA, under teacher resources, you're able to find all of these resources under AET training resources. And then if you go under today's date, you can find our help sheet. I'm also going to put a link in the chat if it'll pop up directly to this one. So this is what it's going to look like. And then here's a link in your chat directly to it. So when you go into AET, we'll use the association's account. So when you log in and go to, so there's a couple of ways. The first thing that we're going to talk about based on the taking chapter attendance for participation is that you have a way that you can do student ID cards to make tracking participation in your events faster by having students scan in when they come, and it'll automatically add them to the participant list of that roster. So how you access that is if you go to AET, and this is logged in as your teacher dashboard, and then under under reports, under the green column of program reports, if you go to P3, you'll see program and teacher supports. And there's a lot of really useful tools in there to help out as a teacher. So if you want a printout of your calendar, detail the participation report, your POA report, that's another shortcut. But today we're gonna look at the student ID cards with barcode. So again, that's under your reports tab, the middle column, program and teacher reports, P3. And so I'm going to go ahead and make a PDF of this, and it's going to download directly to my computer. So right down here, the very last option. And what that does is it creates a little membership card for our students. And so it gives them a scan bar that you're then able to use to take attendance. And so you can just cut those apart. You can have students, laminate them if you want to. They could stick them right into their planner, maybe with some packaging tape right on top, just so that they're always super convenient. So that's how you get the membership card for your students. What can I clarify on that? All right. So then when you are actually at your event, we're gonna go again back to Tracker, and this time we're gonna go to our calendar. And remember, that's where we can find our program of activities. So let's say that we were gonna look at AET training. So you can go ahead and click on the event in your calendar. And we've talked through goals and plans and deadlines and results, but we're gonna go all the way over to participants, and we're gonna click that tab. And it's gonna wanna make sure that we fill out this completely. So let's say our AET training was a workshop. It was a chapter level event. And since you get 4 CEUs for this, we'll put that as 4 hours. And then this is where it comes in that you're able to put in the barcode. So if you had a scanner, and you can use any scanner that you can find on AET, I know Ag Ed Discussion Lab has lots of recommendations of ones that work well, but any barcode scanner will work. You will just click into here, and then you'll scan it, and then hit enter, and it will add those participants. The other thing you can do is you can just check the students in from a list, but if you had 100 students to check in, it would be a lot easier to just go scan, enter, scan, enter. And so let's say that Mr. Ertl attended. He popped up when we scanned it. We could just hit enter, and then we know that he attended this event. So that's just one way that you can keep track of participation of your events. The other way is if you log into a student account. So let's go back and pretend that we are me. And so if I log in as a student, I can go into our calendar, which is way over on the left-hand side of the screen. I can also click AET training, and I can click participants, and I can add myself then as a participant in that workshop. So that's another way that students can add themselves to this. Some of this is dependent on, so if you have student officers that you've given access to some of the leadership roles on AET, they could add a bunch of students logged in as themselves. If you do not have those admin roles as a student, you're only allowed to add yourself. So I would only see myself in that drop down instead of seeing the whole chapter. What can I clarify in that? Multiple teachers, I believe, can be checking in students at the same time as long as they're logged in a different way. So as long as you're not all logged in as Mr. Miron, you should be able to. But if you had one teacher logged in as Miss Ward and one as Mr. Miron, you should be able to enter students through multiple accounts at the same time. Any other questions? So then again, as the teacher, if I want to go back to my teacher mode, if I go under reports, again, if we go under program teacher reports, I can then go to activity participation report, and I can see, I can run the date. So if you wanted to see how many students participated in events for the month or for the year, to do any kind of report, you could then set your dates, and then either click the participation value or journal hours. You could see how many hours were for competition, how many hours were for community service, how many hours were FFA activities in general, and then you would be able to get that as an Excel form, and you could share that, you know, if you're trying to figure out the value of the service hours that you do in a year, that would be an easier way to try to get some of that data. Moving forward, I could see this as something that we could use for like land of service. It would be an easy way for you to run some of that data. And maybe we get to the point that that's how you submit that information in general. We're not there yet, but I think that is a tool that you could use as an instructor to fill out some of those award applications for our service hours and our literacy hours. What other questions do you have?
So we could just highlight these at some point and just extract them to, but we're not quite there yet.
Right. Yep, it's something we can definitely look into. We're not there yet, but that is a way that maybe you can get the data to be able to fill out some of those forms. But I do see, I mean, our goal is to make teachers' lives easier. And so if we can get all of this to go into one report instead of you filling out another Excel spreadsheet, I think that's definitely something that we can look into. Yeah. Is just getting everything coded easier. All right, well, as a reminder at this point, hopefully you have your teacher profile complete and your chapter profile complete. Looking forward, we're going to be looking at how to add students to your classroom rosters. So hopefully, I hope by now you know what you're teaching, but I know that's not the case for all of you yet. So as you figure that out, you can go ahead and add your classes to AET, and then we'll be showing you how to add those students to your classes. And then eventually moving that on to FFA membership. For now, focus on your profiles, start getting your program of activities in. As regions continue to adjust their schedules, I'll continue to adjust some of the region calendars on AET. But just know that we're here to support you, and that this is just one of those tools that can help you get some of the data to show the awesome things that you're doing in your communities. So that's what I have. I'll stick around if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, we'll have the CEU quiz available for you guys for 4 hours of professional development. And we're always here for questions. Thanks, everyone.